Wow, it's Peter's look-alike. What a rare treat this is. There's a voice. He's watching us. He sees us. He will kill us. Life is nothing. There is no change. We will all die. And it will be over. He's here.
Can you beat Tomodachi Life in one day? What even is beating Tomodachi Life? Well, Tomodachi Life isn't really a game you beat, like Animal Crossing, but it's got credits that you can get to, so how do you get to that? Well, the credits roll when two Miis have a kid, but as far as beating it goes, here's what I want to do. I want to unlock everything on the map, I want to partake in all playable activities, and I want to see the credits roll. Okay, now, what is one day? One day in-game is the 24-hour period from 12 midnight to 11:59 p.m. The game runs on real time, or, well, whatever time your 3DS is set to. So I'm going to start in the morning and push through the whole day. I want to see if you can start a game of Tomodachi Life in the morning and see the credits roll before midnight. Let's see what happens. Okay, so booting up for the first time, it asks us for the date and time. Then after that, we give our island a name. You can change this later, but for some reason, I don't think I will. Now we have to make a Mii lookalike. This is sort of your insert on the island. It's not you, but it's your lookalike. They want you to make it look like you, so that's definitely what I did. Next up, we have all this info to fill out. What's our name, our last name, birthday, dick length. It all gives our lookalike some kind of identity. The nickname here is what other Miis will refer to him as, while his full name will only be used in specific circumstances. Now we have the voice. I think when a lot of people first heard this, they were like, oh, they got Google Translate to voice the Miis. But I think it actually adds to the atmosphere of the game, and I can't imagine any other robot voice coming out of these Miis. You can customize how it sounds with some presets and then do the fine-tuning with these sliders. Now, his personality. Just like real life, you use these squares to determine your personality. There are 16 different personality types, and they all interact with each other in unique ways. So here we are, move-in day. Peter lives in this hellish room and we get to meet him. So what's the gameplay here? Well, islanders will have problems and you need to solve them. If Peter is hungry, then go to the store and buy Peter some pancakes. Why does this matter? Well, some places on the map can only be unlocked after solving a certain amount of problems. When you solve problems, you might get treasure and your Mii also gets experience points. Well, now Peter wants some company. Let's get him some friends. So I think my best bet here is to add islanders constantly. The more islanders there are, the more opportunities I get. The problem is, if all I do is add islanders, then I won't be solving problems. So I have to find a nice balance. Peter wants to meet her, and whenever two people meet, if they hit it off, you get a little sparkle. There's a lot to get done, and this game loves telling me things. Imagine what it would be like to have a baby. Who is this mystery person? Why is she 3 feet tall? Newsflash! The newsflash is the most annoying interruption of this game. Every single time something new opens up, there's a newsflash. I'd rather have a picture taken instantaneously. With Town Hall now open, we can add islanders and some other trash. We can import Miis from the Mii Maker, send and receive them, or even scan QR codes. But in this video, everything you see will be a proud creation of mine. When helping Miis with problems, usually they want something dumb like food or water, but early on in the game, a few of them trigger special events. So Peter says he added a place to the island where people can donate money to Better X Hamster. He just left it on the ground near some fountain. What a dingbat. He's lucky this isn't real. So occasionally, instead of problems, an islander will ask you for advice on becoming friends with someone. They may want to meet up with them, or sometimes they just might ask you about a relationship they're already in. Sometimes their problems aren't even problems. They just want to know if you like drumsticks. They're fucking weird. When you visit a Mii for the first time, they give you a little one-sentence introduction to themselves that depends on what personality they have. So something worth mentioning is that sometimes you can tell what their problem is depending on what music is playing when you enter their room. In this case, I can tell he wants to eat. Why are they always so hungry? How do they live when I don't play? And then he gives me a fan. The clothing shop is open now, so we can look forward to wasting more money on shit our Miis won't like. There's nothing good here. Let's check out that donation box Peter put in town. So once a day, all the islanders will swing by and donate some money to our island. The more Miis you have, the more money you get. I don't know where they're getting this money from though. Well, now I regret checking the donations before making more Miis. I want to wring every penny out of them. Something I want to mention about Tomodachi Life. You're encouraged to make Miis of your friends and family. This is supposed to make it more relatable and interesting, but I find that it's more fun to make a world full of freaks and see what they do with each other. I'm trying to pace myself with creating these because if you mass produce them, then you won't get to appreciate all the little interactions you have with them, like Slender Man eating spaghetti. They all have something to say and I don't want to miss out on hearing them. But pumping out Miis is required to get things moving, so I have to keep things moving. Holy fucking shit, Peter's in love. Okay, this is an amazing sign. This is very early on in the game and we already have someone in love. Peter and Lori have got to get together or so help me God. He needs some advice on what to say and where to say it. At school? These people go to school? Where the fuck is the school? Okay, we'll do it at the school, I guess. We just gotta hope Lori goes for it because sometimes they won't feel the same.
Since the birth of my son.
Fuck yeah. We did it. We got a couple. Now Peter leveled up and he's all giddy. A lot of new things just opened up. There's a theme park now. There's also a park. Random stuff happens at the park. Usually it's just people barbecuing, but sometimes they take pictures or play frisbee. The cafe is just a cafe. Apparently there's hangouts there. They aren't scheduled though. We're gonna check out the theme park in a bit, so now I want to go over what's left to unlock. The majority of this stuff is really easy and just requires that I make more Miis and solve more problems. The two I'm worried about are the houses and the campsite. The houses require that two Miis get married, and the campsite requires that you get a street pass tag. I have another 3DS and a copy of the game, but we'll get into that later. Now that Peter and Lori are in love, we just have to look forward to their marriage. Also, before we continue, I want to bring up the obsession my islanders have with disposable cameras. Sometimes it's like every other person wants one. Also, they can take pictures of monkeys. They're fucking weird. Alright, what now? 3DS image share. Oh, so now I can share all the amazing pictures of my beautiful Miis online. Well, let's check that out. I wonder how... Oh. I think the way I'm playing is a very different experience than how you're supposed to play. If you've never played Tomodachi Life, it really is a fun game. It's actually the sequel to a Japan-only DS game that has since gotten a fan translation, so maybe I'll check it out one day. Oh my god, hats, fucking hats, incredible. They got hats. I also, out of nowhere, have to pick an export. The point of this is so when you get a street pass tag, you'll give them whatever your export is, and they'll give you whatever their export is. So it's like you're trading items. Let's activate street pass while we're at it too. Okay, now something else. The port has opened. This is just where we would go to get out street pass shit. By the way, here's your island address? What the fuck is this? Apparently, it's just so your island can be differentiated from other islands with the same name. Oh my god. Now, import where. So, here is where we can buy any clothes that we've gotten through Street Pass, but we can also get clothes from Spot Pass. Every so often, Nintendo releases a new special piece of clothes. Jesus fucking Christ. Or not. Nintendo stopped doing new Spot Pass clothes a while ago, and the last one they released was this schoolgirl outfit. How kawaii. I'm starting to lose my mind. It's like this pattern of weird requests and solving gross problems, and then me greeting the latest freak in town. This has been the first hour, and after every few things I do, something unlocks. Interiors. Now we can decorate the inside of apartments. There's some really cool interiors, but they're all expensive as fuck. I can't afford any of this. I'm surprised it took this long, but sometimes me will want to play a game with you. Some of the games take 2 seconds like this one, and other games are full-on quizzes. If you win, you get the most soundboard audio of kids cheering. I'm convinced they put that in here ironically. There's no way that was a serious addition to the game. You also get to pick from 3 boxes for your prize. This is treasure. The point of treasure is pretty much just to sell it. Every treasure is worth something different, and the more expensive ones are less common. If you're a completionist, you'll try to collect them all, but if you don't give a shit, you'll just sell everything. This game is great at interrupting. Me News is now here. Twice a day, we'll get reports on islanders and random stuff that's going on. In our first report, it seems people are climbing things, like it's some kind of addiction. Then they always have people give their opinions on the story.
What on earth is happening?
These can honestly sometimes be hilarious. They're all randomly generated using prompts and filling in the blanks with Miis and random objects that are in the game, so sometimes you get shit that's so dumb it's funny. That's really what makes this game as fun as it is. Because of all the random Mad Libs, auto-filled in type shit that happens, it can be fucking hilarious. So Slender Man here leveled up, and so I've given him the gift of music. And you know what that means. The concert hall is now open. Thank fucking God the game paused just to tell me that, because I would have been lost otherwise. Probably I would have given up. Well, here we get to perform music with our islanders. There's a bunch of genres we can pick from, but we can only sing the things we've given to Mies. They all have their own unique music and lyrics, obviously, but you can customize all the lyrics and have the lines sync up. I think this is a great example of how the fun that comes out of this game is limited to how well you can express your own sense of humor. It's not really that interesting to listen to what the developers wrote. Well, maybe it is, but the replayability comes from your own creativity. When it comes to these songs, you can save the lyrics you wrote to a Mii so you can always have them there when you want to listen to them. You can choose how many backup dancers there are, and if you cut it short, everyone just stops and the crowd murmurs. It's fucking funny. Another golden activity we can take part in is sneezing. Sometimes you gotta help an islander sneeze because they're all disgusting people. Fucking the rankings board is now open. Oh wait, fuck you, also, the girl charm ranking is now open. Now all the misogynists on the island can contribute to something greater. Could you imagine if this was something real towns did? You can see a couple of different stats and more unlock as you play. Moving on, something I'm thankful for every day is the modern technology that allows us to use profanity in this game. Without it, I wouldn't be able to express my full creativity. Speaking of gay sex, a big controversy when this game came out was its lack of same-sex marriage. You may even remember John Oliver doing a violently unfunny bit on it back in 2014. People were upset that you couldn't have any gay Mii couples. Well, I say you can, you just have to work with what you're given. With some creativity, you can have gay Miis. The only issue is he'll have a dress on, so you gotta give him some new clothes as soon as he moves in so it works better. You can do the same thing with a female Mii, just vice versa. By the way, I want to show this because it's fucking stupid. In one of the games you can play, it's this shadow quiz. You have to guess what item this is a shadow of, but for some food items, the shadow is just a plate because the actual food doesn't hang off the plate, so you have no actual chance to guess what it is. This is stupid. How in the name of God would I know what this circle is? Alright, we're almost at the end of the first hour, so let's top it off with some Tomodachi quests at the theme park. It's like this little RPG but requires no skill. It's always the same thing and there's only 3 screens. At one point, you have to choose between left or right, and if you choose wrong, you have to fight an extra battle. In the end, if you beat the boss, you just get whatever it was. It's a fun distraction every now and then, but probably the most unfortunate time killer. There seems to be a lot of effort put into it, but not going the extra mile by making it procedurally generated like everything else just kinda ruins it. It's been 1 hour and a lot has happened. We unlocked almost the whole map and have a lot of islanders. My plan for the next hour is to pump out a bunch more Miis, and I hope that we can get some others in relationships. There's not much else I need to solve problems for, but I'm gonna keep at them so we can get to know them and push things along. The pawn shop is now open. This is where we can sell those treasures we've been getting from our islanders. Well, now that we have a pawn shop, I think this is only fitting. Yep. There he is. There are now 10 shitheads on our island. They're celebrating in the lobby. Sometimes Miis will want to show you a funny face, and they all go by this script of changing certain face parts by size or location. If you have a Mii with a fucked face, it's much better. When it comes to leveling up Miis, any problem you solve gets them XP, but you can also rub their face like a dog. While I continue, I want to go over how relationships in this game work. You, as the player, have very little control over the relationships your Miis get into. You can decide whether they make friends in the first place because they'll always ask you before they meet someone. After 2 islanders become friends, you can't control what happens to them. They may get into fights and stop being friends, at which point you can have some control in helping them make up, but in general, you have no control over how their friendship is going. When it comes to love, whether or not Miis fall in love is based on some background percentages. There's different likelinesses based on personality types, but when it comes to Miis getting married, a Mii popping the question is actually up to you. Here's another game we can play called Pixel Quiz. You have to guess what item is pixelated. Usually these ones aren't too bad, but the pictures get harder with each one, so when the last picture is like 3 by 3 pixels big, you kinda have to just get lucky sometimes. As you discover more and more personalities, you can visit the main office of the building to see them all. As more and more Miis are created, you'll also have the option to move apartments around to make your own special order. Right now at the park, the barbecue has ended, so they have a camera set up. Here, they actually use the camera to take pictures of us. It's kind of fun. This game has a lot of stuff in it that really uses the 3DS's features in fun ways, and they all add up to being fun. Another game we have here is the Mii Pixel Quiz. This requires you to know what the freaks you've made look like. If you make 2 Miis that look similar, you would just be fucked. There's something else I'd like to bring up about the Miis. While you get to choose their personalities, you can't actually control how they act socially. In social situations, Miis always just act the same, but if you get creative, you can make them nihilists or get them to be paranoid. Not actually, but it's up to you to spice up their interactions. This one is just shadows of Miis. Once again, it's easy to fuck yourself over if you have two Miis with the same default height and weight. And you wouldn't know that until you've gotten one of these games. And it's not like you're gonna delete a Mii to avoid it, so you're screwed. Finally, something new. The compatibility tester can be used to show us how compatible Miis are. It'll tell you the likelihood of them falling in love or becoming friends. Their heads are glued to this real human body. Sometimes when you have new islanders, it's fun to stop by and see what's going on. You can even see a relationship forecast to see when people will get into fights and stuff. Why do you have a sewing machine but you can't afford bread? Also, we're getting closer to Slender Man having gay sex. The tower is now here and we can participate in a new activity. Quirky questions. What makes these questions so quirky? Well, your thoughts, of course. Basically, you get to pick from 3 prompts and then fill in the last word with whatever you want. Whether or not a Mii raises their hand has nothing to do with what you put in. It's always just random and it's just supposed to get you to raise your eyebrow. This is another horseshit game where you could just be fucked. What do you think it is? It's an item and it's zoomed in. Depending on your options, you could just be screwed. How in the mother of fuck should I know what this is? These Miis are fucking idiots. When creating a Mii, you're limited to what you have in the Mii Maker, so if you want additional facial features, you'll have to get a bit creative. Next up, we have Judgment Bay, and this is just flipping a coin. This takes place at the beach, and you get 2 to 4 squares where you can write or draw something in them. The Miis vote, and you can tap on them to have them share their opinions. The next game to encounter is the memory game. This is literally just a memory game but with islanders and items. Okay, so this about wraps up hour 2, but before we move on, we gain access to the popularity ranking. So let's see who's popular. Slender Man is taking the lead, it looks like. I believe this is determined by how many friendships they have and the quality of each of them. Going forward, there's a few things I want to focus on. There's really very little left on the map, so I'm going to continue to grow X-Hamster's population and solve problems. In the meantime, I have my other 3DS set up with Street Pass, so I'm going to have that in the background. I'm a bit nervous. Peter and Lori are the only Miis that are dating, and their relationship hasn't progressed. Also, honestly, I'm going insane. My eyes hurt, and these Miis all piss me off. Most of them are assholes, and a few good ones won't fall in love. Regardless, I'm gonna keep pushing and suffering. I need to know if you can beat Tomodachi Life in one day. I cannot find it in me to take this game seriously anymore. My brain is just mush, and I have no respect for how the developers intended this to be played. If you lose a game, you always either get toilet paper or tissues. I want everyone to be evil. If I can't get what I want, I will give all these Miis a terrible existence. So help me God, I will fill this island with living garbage. Now that we have enough Miis, the apartment building has expanded to house more. The islanders may be excited, but I'm only giving birth to evil people now. My new goal is to fill this place with negativity. It's the only thing keeping me going. It's few and far between new things happening. Here we've unlocked the photo studio. It's exactly what you think. Here we can take pictures of Miis. You can do a group, a couple, or the whole island. You can mess with the order and change their expressions. If you had 2 Miis with a baby, you could do a family photo. So, I'm gonna be honest. I've hit a wall. At this point, I just have to wait for Peter and Lori's relationship to progress or my Street Pass to go off. But neither are happening for some reason. This has been the past hour. So I took a break. There's no point in me just playing non-stop, so I put the 3DS down for a bit and now I'm back. But nothing has happened. No Street Pass, no fucking, no nothing. These lazy fucking idiots won't do anything. They're all just sitting on their asses wasting my time. I've just been messing with them. I've noticed that a lot of them are giving me medicine. I don't know why. Maybe they're warning me. In the meantime, I've messed with some of the items I've gotten. I also gave some stuff to Miis. At this point in the day, the mystery bag is for sale at the theme park, and it's a great way to waste 50 bucks and give us 3 random items. You could get something really cool, or a tomato. Certain things only go on at certain points in the day, so it's nice to take part of them when they come around. It's the guys hanging out at the cafe right now, and I've never watched a more awkward conversation. These 2 fucking suck. They all follow fill-it-in prompts like the news stories. So for every funny moment there are 10 moments that make no goddamn sense. And if one of them has an awful voice, forget it.
Let's go shopping for funny hats.
Rich sucks, and Paul clearly hates his fucking guts. This is like some alien torture that humans just can't understand yet. This actually goes on forever. This is like a precursor to all those AI-generated TV shows you see being streamed on Twitch and YouTube now.
I've been hearing strange voices coming from K-Sex's apartment.
I am losing my mind and I can't stand this. There's a reason you're not supposed to beat this in one day. If you play this for like an hour a day, you'll probably remain a normal person, or as normal as you were when you started playing. But having played for almost 4 hours now, I'm going insane. I'm turning what was once a fairly weird island into the product of an insane person.
What's that? Do I have something on my face?
You've got some popcorn there.
What? Since when do I have a voice? What the fuck? I would like to see Rich die. I'm gonna put that out there. These games are fun if you play them once a day. If you play these constantly, you'll hate yourself. Football is just tap the screen really fast the game. Now we have to put our knowledge of Islanders to the test. Do I know my Islanders? Probably not. I've made like 40 of them in the past 3 hours. This is the hardest one for me because I hate most of these people and I haven't spent that much time with them. For a lot of these, it's not really a question of are they wearing the same clothes, but rather have I given them both clothes yet. When I do birthdays and personalities, I pick random shit. I don't know if 2 people were born in the same month. There have been very few me's I actually put effort into and paid attention while making them. The majority of these just look like dingbats. So earlier I mentioned how everyone on the island is obsessed with disposable cameras. Well, it's not very often that I have one because most of these people keep giving me medicine and toilet paper instead of anything actually interesting. So this here is a very rare occurrence where somebody wants a disposable camera and I actually have one. If you have them take a picture of someone, it'll be a me or two doing some activity. I don't know why, but Pot looks like her ribs are breaking in this image. I'll have to save that. As Hour 4 comes to a close, I'd like to remind you again, this game is great, but don't play it like this. If you're willing to do a little bit every day, then you'll have a blast, but doing what I'm doing will make you want to die.
Slenderman have the same favorite color.
It's nighttime here on X-Hamster Island and nothing is happening. I'm miserable. I've been doing this all day. There's only so much I can take. Only so many times I can buy food and clothes and play football. I want to see this island burn. After having done this all day, I've realized some things. Peter and Lori are not going to fall in love and get married and have a baby all in the same day. It's not going to happen. And to unlock the campground, I need another islander to send me a traveling kid. Then they can sleep at my campground. While it's possible to do that today with a copy of the game with a kid on it, I have to wait for my Mies to have a baby and then wait even longer for the me to grow up just so I can send it to someone else's island. And that's impossible to do in one day. So I'm sorry to say, but it isn't gonna happen. You cannot beat Tomodachi Life in the course of one day. But wait, what if I time travel? If I mess with the system clock, can I move things along and beat the game in one real life day? Maybe, so why not give it a shot? The game warns us about the time being different. Yeah, I know, I'm cheating. So now it's the next morning, and fucking nothing. It's actually Stretch Mark's birthday today, so I'm really glad we got to see that. There aren't any donations also. I wonder why. I'm back to making more Islanders, just killing time. I feel a bit more motivation to keep going now, but I will always hate everyone on this island. What's weird though is that despite this being the next morning in the game, everyone seems the same. Like everyone who was friends yesterday is still friends. No one got into fights or anything. I feel like I'm ruining these games for myself. Like they will never be fun again. Sometimes it feels like the voices are pretty limited, and when you have so many Miis, it's hard to tell them apart by their voices. Early on in the game, maybe you can tell them apart by their voices, but eventually you just get to a point where it's harder to tell them apart. I hope if a sequel to this game is ever made, they increase the amount of customization you can do with the voices. That would make caring about individuals a lot easier and make certain people more memorable. I can't believe it took this long, but we got our first dream. Dreams are like problems, but you don't actually have to solve anything. As soon as you leave them, they're over, and you always get something from them that has to do with the dream. If they were just daydreaming, they'll wake up after it's over. Yeah, I don't care. I'm trying to kill time while things happen in the background, but I'm not too sure how much is happening. It's hard to keep busy when nothing seems to be happening anymore. so I'm gonna try to go deeper in time. I'm skipping ahead another day, and still nothing. I just don't get it. Peter's relationship status isn't changing at all. I'm going insane, just fuck already. When you view the dream of a me who's sleeping, things are a bit different. While they'll only have one dream for you to see still, they won't wake up after you leave it. You'll still get some item though. You can also draw on their face like an asshole. It doesn't stay or anything, but it's a fun distraction when you get the chance. Still nothing, so let's go even further to the next morning. Here the morning market is open, and Paul is selling mac and cheese. Peter is still the same, and I'm gonna scream. I can't keep doing this, and there's nothing I can do about it. No matter how much I interact with either of them, nothing will change. How many more things can I give people? How many more me's can I create? Nothing is happening. I can just keep going further and further into the future, and still nothing will happen. Why? The only new stuff I'm seeing is whatever weird stuff is going on at that moment. With all these different times I'm going to, I can see some different activity stuff. This has been hour 6 of me trying to beat this game, and I just don't know. Nothing is changing and I'm not progressing. I keep leveling up Miis and collecting treasure, but the fact is, the relationships they all have aren't changing with each day I skip ahead, and I feel like there may be a reason for that. I'm trying to take this seriously, but I mean it in all honesty that my sanity is becoming dirt. Okay, I can't. This is ridiculous. I've gone days into the future and still nothing. If you can't imagine what's coming up, it's more of the same, so I'm gonna give you a little highlight reel of the nothing that happened for the next hour.
You scared the hiccups right out of me.
I'm happy.
I'm Dino.
The population on Chapter Island has reached 30.
I am a whore. I don't really know much about this Guntaboon character.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
Hey, cough. Miserable. Darn, I lost it. Who often gets mistaken for lawless shit? Who has no interest in Garbaflavadaka? Who would rather be dead?
Me. I'd like to have a disposable camera. I'd like to have a disposable camera.
I'd like to have a disposable camera.
I need to express my saddest thoughts.
I'm a convicted murderer. I try to always stay positive and keep a smile on my face. Hairy ass.
Ding Dong's the name. I like to think big and dream even bigger.
There's a crab on your sleeve.
Could you please take care of that for me? I'm miserable. I'm usually pretty happy just doing my own thing.
Oh my god, something happened. The pampered ranking is now unlocked. It just shows who I do shit for the most. Basically whose dick I'm sucking. Apparently I'm a fan of Peter, Slenderman, and Twat, and I just can't stand hairy ass. Oh my god, I can't do this. Anyway, back to the reel.
I caught a cold. I don't feel so good.
How's the weather out there?
I lost something really important. Can you see if anyone's found it?
Look what I found.
You found it. I can't believe this. I can't thank you enough. A new Gunk Dip Cream Puff Massage has been taking spas by storm. The Gunk Dip Massage hits pressure points that other methods just can't reach.
Finally, it's about time. It's a habanero. I wonder which one I should flip. I did it. This one. I did it. I'll try this one and. I did it. I'll try this one and. I did it. This one. I did it. This one. I did it.
I want to be friends with Chodefucker. I'm Paul McCartney and I have the bump.
I'm so close to burning my eyes out, I'm actually nauseous. I'm not sure if I have any creativity left or if it's all become what I can only describe as brain mush. It's been 7 hours, and whenever you take a screenshot, by the way, the game freezes for like 30 hours. Fucking stupid. If I keep doing this, I'm gonna die. This is awful and I hate this. Peter and Lori won't get married and the relationship is stuck at totally in love. It's not just them, it's everyone. Nobody will progress the relationships and it's driving me mad. I'm skipping ahead months now, and guess what? Fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a shred of anything. Just nothing. There's 38 islanders now, and honestly, if you gave me a gun and 38 bullets, I would shoot myself 38 times. This is in no way fun, and in all ways torture. Watching these idiots be idiots has ceased being funny and has become fuel to my hate of everything. Fuck all of them. I'll hate them forever. Even if they give me what I want, I'll always want them all dead. Despite my many attempts to move things along, nothing I can do works. So I've come to a conclusion. After playing this game for 8 hours now, I've come to my conclusion. No, you cannot beat Tomodachi Life in one day, and here's why. The game runs on real time, yes, but the game keeps track of 24-hour increments. That's why every time I changed the date, the donations didn't reopen at the fountain, and it's why relationships didn't progress. Relationships change with actual uncontrollable days, and no matter how far into the future you go, you can't force them to progress. I'm sad to say, but I've tried my best.
What a waste of time.
In the end, Durkee Poo and Rango had some good vitality, but Tupperware and IE people just couldn't stick with it. Slenderman and Twat were pretty popular, but Nipple Barf and Titwank just couldn't climb the charts. Lori was the popular girl in town, and Ding Dong didn't bring much to the table. The whole way through, Peter held a special place in my heart, but Thick Dick can rot in hell. Overall, this has been an experience. Some games aren't meant to be beaten one day, and it shows. For as much as Tomodachi Life has going for it, what it's got going is best experienced over a long period of time. Trying to get through it all in one day would be against the point of it. Creating islanders and solving their problems allows you to create a special bond with people who may not be real, but are real in your imagination. For example, Miserable may not be real, but he's an entity that this game hosts from my imagination.
That was a blast.
Even with what I showed you today, there's still a lot more to see, and much of it is locked behind your ability to come up with it. I think this game will be remembered as timeless because of how it adapts to your own sense of humor. The things your Miis say and the way they look and sound all require your input, so as long as you're willing to share your personality with this game, it will give you something you can enjoy. So even if it wasn't giving me what I wanted, it gave me exactly what it was supposed to. And for that, I can't complain. I'm Bearman, and I've been wasting your time. Thank you for watching. In 2009, Japan was introduced to whatever this was, and they loved it because they are Japan. Tomodachi Collection was a strange new game where you put Miis on an island and watch them gradually have sex with each other. Although you don't get to see the woohoo happening, your main goal is to help them out and watch them form relationships with each other. Of course, there's more to it than that. Well, not really actually. This game is really limited with what you can get your islanders to do. Because of the Nintendo DS's piss-poor power, the AI and interactivity falls pretty short. Even with that though, the game was a hit in Japan, but never saw a release outside the land of the rising sun. It featured a text-to-speech synthesizer that allowed for Miis to speak directly to you, and it allowed for some kind of personal connection with islanders that you couldn't really get otherwise. Of course, I've done a video on Tomodachi Life, this game's sequel, and I tried to find out if you could beat the game in one day. It's possible, but not without a fuck ton of RNG luck and manipulation. So, what about this game? Well, I have a warrant out for my arrest, and just so happen to have a DS with me while I live with an undocumented alien, so what the hell, let's give it a try. So to start, this is a fan translation. Obviously, the original is only in Japanese, so thankfully the fans have allowed us fat Americans to play in full English glory. You'll notice that this game is extremely similar to its sequel. It's the same routine. Name the island that your Miis are going to be fucking on, and then make your lookalike. The first Mii you make in this game is supposed to be you. It's somewhat of a self-insert and really gets you immersed in the shithole you're about to live on. This Mii maker here is based off the Wii's Mii channel, so there's a lot less options to customize these assholes. Of course, we name our Miis and give them a birthday, a favorite color, a nickname, their blood type. What the fuck? Yeah, exclusive to the Japanese version of the Tomodachi games is choosing a blood type. Apparently it's some cultural shit, but to my giant American brain, that's fucking weird and disgusting. And you can't even choose negative or positive blood types. Forget getting gay marriage in Tomodachi Life. You wanna talk non-inclusive? I can't customize my fucking blood type. And if you're making a me of someone else, it really makes for a great search history. When it comes to the voices, Jesus fucking Christ. Forget about nails on a chalkboard. This is like shoving a cheese grater in your ear. The English patch translates all the text, but the text-to-speech remains in all its Japanese glory. You can use an English keyboard to type, but the Miis just say all the letters individually instead of saying them as a word. Once you finish your creation, the apartment building opens up, and you get to meet the beginning of your mental health decline. He wants a friend, so you throw together some bitch for him and then throw her in. But not without choosing her blood type first. They get introduced to each other and talk about God knows what, probably discussing race issues, and then they smash their skulls together. The beginning of the game is all about interrupting you, to slowly introduce everything the game has to offer, just like in Tomodachi Life. Speaking of Tomodachi Life, as you play through this game, you'll start to notice how much of the music is the exact same. The first thing you unlock is the food store, where you can buy sustenance. This is the first of many things to unlock. In this video, I'm defining beating the game as unlocking everything. Getting every location on the map, seeing all the scripted news flashes, and completing the rankings board. Everything has its own little requirements for unlocking it, so it's going to take a lot of patience to get where I want to be. Speaking of, newsflash. Yeah, I know you can skip these. I had a lot of people tell me last time that I can skip the news flashes. I knew I could skip them, but it didn't change the fact that they're annoying as fuck. Anyway, a lot of the places on the island get unlocked after reaching a milestone with the islanders. When you solve enough problems, you get a new store. When you spawn enough islanders, you get some other new shit. Stuff like that. So I plan on making a bunch of islanders like I did last time to speed up the process. Speaking of creating islanders, you can transfer Miis between other players and even send and receive Miis through the Mii channel on your Wii. How cool is that? You can cross-contaminate your systems with these fucking assholes. The only thing any of them are good for is giving you money once a day, but they're all fucking cheap as shit. They're all also boring as fuck. They have like nothing cool to say and they're all stupid. You really have to go the extra mile to make them entertaining. Listen to this idiot. His voice is so fucking unbearable. It sounds like he's talking in Morse code. And then he gives me a job ticket. What an asshole. By the way, if you want to use any of the Miis you receive from transfers, you have to manually add them from Town Hall. And none of their info carries over, so you gotta fill in the nickname and favorite color again. It's such a waste of time. Why don't they make me scratch his back while I'm at... Oh. So instead of sneezing like in Tomodachi Life, their backs itch. It's really fucking exhilarating. What an upgrade. We didn't know how good we had it when we were kids. We really were born in the perfect generation. You get 6 chances to find the itch, and if you don't, then you lose. Fantastic. It feels like Miis have problems a lot less often than they do in Tomodachi Life. Early on in the game, there's a whole lot of nothing, leading me to just mass procreate, filling up the world with hate, one me at a time. Holy fuck, Howard's in love. It's extremely early on in the game, and I was not expecting this. This is perfect because there are a couple spots on the island that require Miis to confess their love to each other. Always be arrogant. Classroom. What the fuck is this shit? The same thing in Tomodachi Life. Where is the school? There is no fucking school. Why are these people going to school? Howard is in his 60s. Should you change into different clothes? What clothes? You have no clothes. I just started the game like 10 minutes ago. Wow. Jesus Christ, what a bitch. Now he's depressed. You gotta cheer him up, but there's only so much you can use this early on in the game. I do have that job ticket, though. Yeah, here, have a job ticket. Because if anything's gonna cure your depression, it's getting a job. When you diagnose Miis with an occupation, their heads just float in between 2 JPEGs. You can move their head around, but you don't really actually do anything. This is the extent of Miis having a job. There's really nothing else I can do, so you're just gonna have to hang in there for a while. You'll get rid of your depression in no time. Looks like he already cured himself. Back scratching? God, it's so much fun. I won it this time, and I got an antacid. Time to feed Eglop. It looks like he's really into shortcake, and as a thanks, he gave me a camera. Looks pretty disposable. Anyway, I'm giving Howard the camera to see what he does with it. He took pictures of goats. Still depressed, though. So as you can see here, like I said earlier, all of these buildings get unlocked when you do something specific, and a lot of them just require the population to reach a certain number, so it's in my best interest to pump out these goons as fast as I can. It's detrimental to my health, but the sooner it's all over, the sooner I can abandon all these pricks in the dirt they walk on. The clothes store is now open, and with that, people are gonna start asking me to buy them clothes. I bought Howard a new shirt, and finally he's back to his former self. Thank you for the hypnosis set, you freak. Maybe we can convince some of these other assholes to kill themselves. Or to be showered with pepper. This is disgusting. Hypnosis sets basically just let you replay any dreams your Miis have had. Mine haven't had any yet, so I don't know why it defaulted to this one. The rankings board is now here, and I can keep track of who I care about the least. How exciting. Fuck you. Also, the interior shop where I can buy interiors for those without interiors. I have no idea how the best condition ranking works. I can't find a solid answer online either. The game says it's based on birth dates, but I have no clue what the fuck that means. And the interior shop sucks because I can barely afford anything. Maybe if these pieces of shit weren't running me dry, I could buy new things. Eglop's gonna have to live in ruin for now. I've been playing for about an hour now, and there's been very little variety. The only thing I have to do most of the time is make new Miis, but you can only make so many in a row before you start to mentally deteriorate. The news station is open, by the way, and it functions the same way it does in Tomodachi Life. Once a day, one of your Miis reports a bullshit story. It's all randomly generated. By the way, you gotta love the town thoughts here. Full of complaints. Shut the fuck up. And it says that as if I can do anything about it. No one has problems right now. I'm just making more fuckers over and over again. What the hell is this shit? Obviously, the first time you play this, you're not gonna sit there and try to beat it in one day, but surely you're gonna play more than 1 hour of it. There's like nothing left to do. At least in Tomodachi Life, it always felt like you could do something to pass the time. Here, the only thing you can do is make Mii after Mii, hoping that by the time you're done, someone will have a problem. Eventually, the building will expand because all you're doing is making Miis. In all seriousness, it's not a great time. It's tedious and boring. Waiting for shit to do is the worst part about this game. There's only so much patience in the fucking world. And all these problems are the same. There's no variety. It's all just, do you think me and this fucking idiot should be friends? Can you feed me? Can you give me clothes? Thanks, here's a music box. After a grueling hour and a half, the job diagnostics tent is now open. Nothing is less suspicious than a tent at the bottom of a hill. Here you can select a Mii and then it tells you what their future job is going to be. It's basically a free version of that job ticket we used earlier. It's pretty fun the first few times you use it, but after a bit, it's not too interesting. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is like the most interesting thing to happen in like an hour. But there's only so many different job titles, and after a while, you start to see repeats. It's kind of fun though. The idea of teaching phrases to Miis is something that originated in this game. Here's the issue. You only get 8 fucking letters. I guess you can fit more ideas with less characters in Japanese, but I don't really see a reason to limit it to 8 letters. It's also our first level up. Yep, that's right. Eglop has just leveled up. We get to give him something, and there's a few options to choose from. I think there's nothing more beautiful than the gift of music. Now we can have Eglop sing a song, but get this. You can't write your own lyrics. What the fuck kind of shit is that? There's just a bunch of preset options, and most of them are in Japanese. The English selection is super limited, and none of the words make any fucking sense out of context. That's fucking lame. So if you only speak English, all you can do is make these weird broken English songs that make no goddamn sense, and they pick the weirdest words to have in English. The word selection is different on each of the verses, so you can only use certain words on certain lines. I believe it's so the syllables match up. The only thing they let you write is the title. What you end up getting is whatever the hell this is. The English is all shitty Japanese English, so it just sounds insane. I'm sure if you speak Japanese, you could probably have more fun with this, but I think most of the fun here comes from blindly filling out this Mad Libs-like lyric sheet with whatever the fuck word you see first. Video games really are a form of art. I'd like to believe that I'm more prone to going insane than I was when I played Tomodachi Life, but truthfully, I'm starting to feel fucking nauseous. These Japanese assholes piss me off, and they're all just prolonging this hell I'm going through. They know what they're doing, too. Fuck 'em all. Oh, also, I haven't mentioned it yet, but this game looks fucking terrible. Yeah, just thought I should say that. Even on the DS I played on, it looked like shit. Go ahead and comment that it was on a handheld from 2004. I don't give a shit. It looks like cock. But it runs at 60 frames, which is pretty cool since most DS games run at 30 FPS. Not even the sequel on 3DS runs at 60 FPS. By the way, they give you way more characters if you give someone a catchphrase to say when they level up. So what's the fucking excuse? There is none, it's just stupid. Another genius decision by the developers of Handheld Torture. Since I'm playing this in one day also, the donation jar won't be refilling again in this playthrough. The game runs on a counter that keeps track of 24-hour intervals, so even if I change the system clock, I won't be getting more money. The donations hold precedence over any events going on at the fountain, but if you show up at different times of the day, there's a plethora of events you can participate in, such as Street Live, English Lesson 1, English Lesson 2, Street Live again. I'll get into all of them, but for now, let's disturb the fabric of time and visit the morning market. He's selling juice. How fun. My God, shut the fuck up. Anyway, the next thing up is Street Live, which I'm assuming is some kind of performance. They just play instruments for one person. It's honestly depressing. They play a song from the game, and at the end you can clap for them if you feel so inclined. Then they just play again. That's it. That's the fucking Street Live. What a waste of my fucking life. And it takes up 2 time slots on the activity board. Who's responsible for this shit? Why did they do this? If you're lucky enough to make it in time to the English lessons, make sure you kill yourself because this shit is so great. There's one of your fucking dipshit islanders standing there asking stupid fucking questions to brain-dead idiots who suck dick. They just do this over and over and over again. All the questions have to do with being friends with other Miis and what items they do and don't have, but some of them are weird as shit. It's funny to me that they obviously are programmed to speak some kind of English, but still won't pronounce their own English names. This reminds me of the cafe talks from Tomodachi Life, and in the same way, if you get stuck listening to a Mii with a shitty voice, just leave, because hearing the shit they have to say is not just unbearable, but it's also completely unintelligible. And that's it. There's no other scheduled activities at the fountain. It's such a shame because all of them really suck. Usually you would turn to them to kill some time until someone has a problem, but they're all pretty shitty and you don't even interact with the Miis, you just watch them. It's a real bummer, especially since the time frame these activities happen in are pretty slim. Distraught thinks he's in love, so I'm gonna humor this. It would be really nice to have a couple on this island, but I don't have too much confidence in this guy. You know it's a good day in the Tomodachi world when someone says they're in love with excrement. Jesus, everyone on this island's a fucking prick. These guys are just assholes to each other. Now he's depressed, as if he wasn't enough already. The popular girl ranking is now here. Now you can keep track of all the sluts on the island. Look at all these girls. None of them would fuck Eglop. Anyway, I don't have enough stuff to undepress Distraught, so he's fucked. The compatibility tester. How great. Now I can test the relationship potential between Miis. Not that I can do anything with that, but it's something to kill time with. If the 2 Miis are the same gender, it tests them as friends, and if the Miis are opposite sex, it tells you the likelihood of them fucking. Once again, it's fun to dick around with for a bit, but it doesn't entertain too long. Sometimes you get funny results, but once again, how many minutes do you think this will entertain you? Probably not many. So back to making more Miis. That's the true cure to boredom in this game. It doesn't get any better than it was the first time you made a Mii, but it sure is the only thing to do. That and time travel, which also doesn't help by the way. There's still barely anything to do. Playing Tomodachi Life before this game really puts into perspective how much the little add-ons to the sequel really helped it stay entertaining. Not that Tomodachi Life never got boring, but it definitely felt like there was more to do in that game at its worst than there is at any point in this game. I've been playing for 3 hours now, and I just found a leaf on Turk's head. How sad is it that that's the most interesting thing to happen to me in the past 45 minutes? I finally got this dumbass out of his depression, and also I gotta say, I'm fucking sick of this game. I have a fucking migraine from playing this shit, and I'm not joking. This is brutal. Nothing is changing, and I need a break from this living hell. I think I'll put the game down for a little. If I don't shoot myself before I come back, let's see if we can get more stuff going on the island. I toyed with the idea of shooting myself, but after a 25-minute break, I think I'm ready to return to X Video Island. There's a mosquito in my room. Well, now it's dead. Thanks for the $200. Let's skip the shit. I want to get stuff done. There's still a bit to unlock, and I look more and more forward to dying every minute I play this. I'm really trying not to be negative here, but holy fuck, I hate all these pieces of shit and dealing with their stupid garbage. I'm going on 4 hours of this shit, and I've enjoyed around 6 minutes of it. In all seriousness, binge playing this game is far more mental illness inducing than its sequel. I would do anything to visit X Hamster Island right now, but I can't, so let's just move on and grow a pair of balls. Newsflash! Who are the most popular people on my island? Wow, incredible. This is based on who has the most friends and their relationships with them. A real stellar lineup, so many friendly faces. I look forward to seeing more faces on there soon. After like 3 minutes, by the way, I'm back in that slump of nothing happening. It really sucks, and filling in the time sucks too. It's deteriorating my fucking brain, and it's so unbearable. By the way, in the Tomodachi Life games, what you can and can't say differs depending on the region. Thankfully, in the Japanese games, English profanity slides under the door, so you can be a dirty, racist pig all you want. It's not as fun though, since all the Mii speak Japanese. Moving on, the island is booming. More and more fuckers making their mark on X Video. So many fuckers, in fact, that the apartment building has expanded. Fantastic. An additional 3 stories have been added, allowing for a new, even easier way to remove yourself from this island. I'm sure everyone's excited to see more people arriving. I'm not though. There's only 2 locations left on the island to unlock, and the rest of the unlocks are on the rankings board. I noticed that the pawn shop here unlocks after you collect 5 assets. Assets? Where the fuck do you get assets? In Tomodachi Life, they're called treasures, and you get them from playing games with islanders. I've been playing this game for just under 4 hours now, and the only games I've seen are the back scratching and the fly swatting one, and I got antacids from them. I've gotten 2 treasures from giving people vacation tickets, but is that really the only way to get them? I need 3 more to unlock the pawn shop, so I guess I'll just have to wait and see. Other than that, the other spots in the island just require more problems to be solved. A few of the lists on the rankings board have some unique requirements related to what they're about. I'm so fucking sick of this shit. It's kind of like when you watch someone die in front of you and your mental state just never recovers. It's like self-induced brain damage. There's no benefit to this, and whether or not you know if you can beat this game in one day has no effect on when you die. But it does have an effect on when I'll die, and hopefully that will be within the next hour. Jumping around with time and changing the clock has no effect on whether islanders have new problems or not. It's just an illusion meant to trick you into believing you have some kind of control over the world you created, when in reality it has control over you. Creating new Miis gives some false sense of progression by speeding up the problem-solving process, but realistically, you're just contributing to your own misery, perpetuating further and further into a user-created hell that feels closer to endless than something circumscribed. Hey, Question Hall just opened. It's basically just a bundle of quirky questions and Judgment Bay. You can pick either and play them at any time. It literally works in the exact same way as it does in Tomodachi Life. All your Miis run to the left or right to pick an option. It's random, but you can still have some fun with it. It's limited to 2 options though. In the 3DS game, you can have up to 4 options. Questions is somehow less fun than writing words in 2 boxes. You get a grand total of 10 characters to write something, which really limits what you can ask. It pretty much restricts you to 1 word, maybe 2. It's one of those situations where you can fit more thoughts in if you type in Japanese. But of any of the text prompts to limit so much, why this one? Such a brain-dead fucking decision. Remember earlier when I talked about using the hypnosis set to replay dreams your Miis have had? Well, now that the clock is set to nighttime, the fuckasses are falling asleep and some of them are having dreams. If you find one that's sleeping but not dreaming like Jeff Keighley here, you can draw on his face. If they're having a dream, then you get whatever the fuck this is. Well, there's a bunch of different dreams, and just like 95% of the shit in this game, if you've played Tomodachi Life, you get the gist. At this point, I'm surprised this game was so popular in Japan. It just has so little content compared to the sequel, and I really don't think I feel this way because I've been playing it for 5 hours. That's why I feel like brain damage is the only way to continue enjoying this game after a certain point. What the game offers can only take you so far. It's up to you to become mentally ill. The best friend rank is now open, and here we can see which islanders are the best friends and which ones fucking hate each other. It just shows the results from the compatibility tester. Same goes for the best lover rank, which is also unlocked. Both of these ranks get unlocked after you use the compatibility tester enough. I've been playing this game for over 5 hours now, and out of fucking nowhere, someone wants to play a game. How the hell have I been playing for 5 hours, and it wasn't until now that someone wants to play a game? And it's over in under 2 seconds, and it was just a look away minigame from Mario Party 1. The porn shop is finally open, and I don't fucking care. I can sell all my nothing now. What the fuck is Slimy Ass doing, by the way? He wants to play funny Korean game, and it's super easy to win. You just have to reach him in under 30 seconds. You gotta love the shitty soundboard kids laughing. I'm so glad they kept that in the sequel. So at this point, all the places on the map are unlocked, and all that remains are 2 ranking boards lists. I am, no joke, actually nauseous from this shit, and I need to take a little break. The 2 ranks left to unlock are the most favored rank and the popular guys rank. The favored rank gets unlocked when you solve 90 problems, and the popular guys rank is unlocked when a girl confesses her love to a guy. That's the one I'm worried about because everyone on the island fucking hates each other, and I don't blame them. They all suck ass and should die. But I'm gonna put the game down for a while. Half an hour later, here I am and nothing has fucking happened. I keep playing games, solving the same stupid problems, changing time, watching dreams, making Miis, drawing dicks, and checking charts. After 40 minutes, I eventually unlocked the favored ranking and dicked around with that, but it didn't fill in the void in my soul. There's one final thing to unlock, and that's the popular guys rank. It doesn't surprise me that it's come down to this. Here's your obligatory highlight reel of the stupid shit because I've run out of stuff to say and I can't stand living.
ありがとうございます。岡屋でありがとうございます。岡屋でありがとうございます。岡屋でありがとうございます。HTMLROIDS のこともよく知らないので。まあ、どっちも同じかもね。Do you have a best friend? I have no best friend.
The will to live is deteriorating, and wouldn't you know it, jack shit has happened. What's new? Nothing. Nothing is new. The suffering has reached so far that it's becoming hard to pick apart the pain. I don't know when it's getting worse anymore, I just know it is. Fuck. I'm reaching the end of the day, and there's nothing I can do but hope. I'm half an hour away from 8 hours of playing this shit. At this point, it's all about being patient. Making me's all the same old shit. It's really about training your brain to kill itself. You have to stop caring about reality. The thing about it is, there's no way to predict how much longer this is gonna go on. Like I said, to unlock the popular guys rank, you have to get a girl to confess her love to a guy. So, first of all, you have to get lucky and have someone want to confess their love. And on top of that, you have a 50-50 chance that it's a girl. Once you get that, you're all set. Whether or not they get together doesn't matter, as long as they, oh my god, this is it. Holy fucking god, this is it. It's over. She's gonna do it.
あなたはきらめく海よりも素敵です。付き合ってください。ごめんなさい。
I don't give a fuck. Be depressed for the rest of your life for all I care. Go fuck yourself. The final rank is finally unlocked. That's it. It's all over. After almost 9 hours, everything on the island is unlocked. So, all in all, yes, you can beat Tomodachi Collection in one day. When I played Tomodachi Life, I came to the conclusion that you couldn't beat that game in one day, but truthfully, you can beat it in one day. The reason I came to that conclusion was because the likelihood of all the needed RNG lining up exactly how you need it to multiple times in a 24-hour period isn't impossible, but it's improbable. There's way too much to consider in that game to make beating it in one day seem possible, but who knows, maybe I'll go back to it one day. You might have noticed that I didn't see any credits after unlocking everything, and that's because the credits only play once two Miis get married. Compare this to Tomodachi Life, where some places on the island are locked behind not only two Miis getting married, but also having a kid. The Mii houses require you to get two Miis married, and the campground requires you to send one of your couple's kids to travel the world, or receive a kid traveler through Street Pass. So even if you skip the kid growing up, which takes 6 days by the way, you would need another copy of the game with a married couple with a kid who's on his 6th day of living, and then time it so the Mii gets sent off at the right time, and then hope that your island gets the Street Pass tag, which isn't even guaranteed anyway. It's fucking insane. So because of that, Tomodachi Collection is unfathomably easier to beat in one day than Tomodachi Life is. And on top of everything in both games, it all comes down to RNG and random luck. Even things you can manipulate come down to RNG. For example, in Tomodachi Life, you can use vacation tickets to speed up the relationship between two islanders, but not only is that not guaranteed, but you also have to factor in getting a vacation ticket from a Mii out of all the other items you can get. It's not happening. This was a fucking awful experience, and I don't recommend anyone try to beat this game in one day. But playing it really made me realize how much more playable the sequel is. I love both games, but holy fuck if the sequel isn't leagues better. No matter what your strategy here is, you can't predict anything. The only mutual outcome is wanting to die. It doesn't matter the stress you endured through it all. What matters is what you take away from it. And I'm taking away suicidal thoughts. And at the end of the day, I think that's what matters most. I'm Bearman, and I've been wasting your time. Thanks for watching.
こっち。
Oh my god. This has to stop. There is no end to this hell. We think we have control of our lives. But in reality, we're all just puppets for Lucifer in this hellish nightmare. This nightmare we call life.
What happens when you take something fun and then remove everything about it that's fun? In 2016, some of the world's most Japanese people got together and they said, hey, let's develop an app. Then they released it. How about that? Miitomo was Nintendo's first ever smartphone app. At the time, it was a pretty big deal. With the raging success that wasn't the Wii U, people started to feel that their favorite Asians were testing new waters, possibly thinking about becoming a third-party developer instead of making new consoles. Of course, that didn't happen, but we got this anyway. With how much money you saw getting sucked up by games like Candy Crush and Clash of Clans, these things must be able to net at least a couple $100 million, right? Well, kinda, I guess. I don't know. And neither did Nintendo because this app launched and died in under 2 years. So that's good. Today, with servers shut down, all we can do is rely on a fan server to keep us going. Like most, I wake up every morning and if I'm not able to see what my ass-white Miis are up to, I'm blowing my brains out. I've already decided. So as to not waste time, let's just jump into whatever the fuck Miitomo was. Just like Tomodachi Life and Collection, the fun doesn't start until you create God's worst nightmare. You can't truly enjoy your experience with a Tomodachi game without a lookalike. The idea, of course, being that the game is made more engaging by your presence within this unbearably hollow world. And just like my last two ventures, I'm making this me the spitting image of yours truly. The me maker in this app is pretty solid. It's a shame it was only used in this failed app and nowhere else. It definitely beats the web browser version you can use on Nintendo's website. Now, while I make my lookalike, what is it exactly I'm about to do? I mean, in the first two games, it was all about watching your hideous creations form their own little lives and relationships, all the while you manipulate the world around them. It was your duty to make sure siblings don't get married and children don't date dream. How can gameplay as intricate as that fit into a free mobile game? Well, at first glance, it looks pretty cool actually. Here on Nintendo's website, they describe it as a social go-between. What the fuck does that even mean? But look at all these pictures. This looks sick. Customizing interiors and buying clothes at the shop, little minigames, a picture studio. This is just Tomodachi Life. That's awesome. Tomodachi Life on my phone, and it's free? Sign me up. So a lot of the setup's gonna look pretty familiar. You're gonna give this prick a name, a voice, a personality, a birthday, and decide whether or not he has a cock. Me's don't have last names in this game though, for some reason. One of my favorite things Nintendo can't get through their head is that I should not have to download some random data every single time I boot up a mobile game. At least I can spam a button for coins. It makes waiting that much more bearable. Welcome, welcome, here we are. This is your new home. Where is it? Fuck if I know. I didn't get to name my island when I first booted in. And actually, am I even on an island? I'm just in a room, and there's no windows. What kind of shit is this? The me starts to talk, and there's all these new effects that play when they say stuff.
Or I'm you. Same thing.
Like, why is there a laugh track? It feels like in Mario Maker when you place a sound effect.
Anyway.
Can this game calm the fuck down? I'm in an empty room doing nothing. What about this warrants a laugh track, sparkles, and confetti? So our recently birthed friend gives us a little rundown of things. Miitomo is an app that lets you communicate with your friends via your me character. Bold of you to assume I have any friends. And also, what does that even mean? An app that lets me communicate with friends. What a unique concept. Wow, crazy to think we had no way of communicating with one another till Miitomo came along. Now, if I need to RSVP to a funeral, it can all be done right here on my phone, all with just Miitomo. So your lookalike will ask you questions, then share your answers with friends. Alright, sounds good. Oh, that was it. What? You answer questions and then trade answers with friends. Before we haul ass, your little miracle gives you a few bones to start you off. Wow, only $1 million? What a cheap bastard. I'm gonna take a wild shit in the dark and say this was modified by the fan server, but I can't imagine this will alter my experience since literally nothing new is added to be bought anymore. And that's it. Every day you open this garbage app and you get this little daily bonus. Wow, I guess I just gotta play this game every day now because if I don't, I'll miss out on seasonal link hair that I'll never even use and forget I even have. Before you get a chance to do anything, who else shows up but, that's right, you guessed it, it's Erica from the Miitomo team. Classic Erica. She comes with a message, and it's from Nintendo. Wow, what a fucking sellout bitch. She's letting me know that if I add friends, I can send messages to them. Something immediately noticeable is the fact that she only says what's on screen. If a sentence runs over to the next speech bubble, it just gets cut off as if that's the end of the sentence.
You can send messages by tapping your me, or selecting the icon in your friend list. Now that you
She's
know.
describing how to navigate a user interface I haven't even been given the chance to look at yet. Once she's gone, we finally get to start playing. It seems Suicide has something to say.
If you have any friends who might like Miitomo, you should invite them to play.
Wow, well, Erica from the Miitomo team did say that I should add friends, but she's a well-known lying bitch. But maybe she's right. Maybe it is worth adding some friends. You can share the link through all your favorite social media platforms, such as Line. I'm tempted to use Line, however, I'm gonna go old school and send it through email. If you're unlucky enough to be on the receiving end of what is the modern equivalent to receiving an invitation to a suicide bombing, you'll be treated with this friendly email from someone you think is your friend. Better act quick though. You only have 7 entire days to react. I know it's a tough decision, but you just gotta make up your mind. Well, while I wait for a friend to answer, let's see what we can do with just ourselves. You can also add a friend locally, like on Switch or 3DS, but for what is probably the most common way you should add friends in this game, it's weirdly hidden behind the share option. Granted, this game's UI changed over time, and what we're seeing for the most part is its final design. This is just fucking stupid. Miitomo wants to access my location, asking me personal questions about myself and then wanting my location. This is like giving Ted Kaczynski your P.O. box. Whenever you boot in, you get welcomed with the notification board. Though this fan server uses it to make update announcements, in the original release, you'd often see news about crossover events and exclusive outfits and even more dumb shit. Now finally, we get to play. We have 5 options here at the bottom, and I'll go into more detail about them as we go along. By tapping on your Mii, you can go into his room and get some more options. Looking around, it's awesome to see a Tomodachi game in HD, but there's just nothing to look at. There's 2 pillows on the floor. Is this his bed? He wants a bio written for him. I promise you, nobody cares at all anything about you. There is no need for you to have a bio, my sweet child. I'm gonna assume Nintendo had a long list of Miyamoto's favorite slurs that you couldn't use in your Miitomo posts, but that restriction is absent from this version, so feel free to be as racist as you want. I don't know how Nintendo thought anyone using this would keep it clean. Like, the only way this is fun is if you make all the Miis bigots. So now our friends can read our bio to learn more about us. A lot of little details from the Tomodachi games carry over here. A lot of very familiar looking activities. Every day you have a new question of the day. This is kind of what you're here for. Answer today's question and then see what all your friends said about it. That's the game. Yes, that's it. I'm not joking. That is the entire game. What if we took Miiverse, removed every aspect about it except one, and made it as slow and boring as possible? Truth be told, I have no problem with that idea. It's a very Nintendo idea. Get a laugh out of what your sick friends and their Miis have to say about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Everyone shares their thoughts on a family-friendly Nintendo-written topic. But that's it. You can add a picture if you feel like being different, but none of the extra fun stuff like in the other games. No little games or events, no island with stores and attractions, no friendships or Mii sex, and no funny interactions. Just answer a question and that's it. Doesn't that just sound like a blast? And just think, you can come back tomorrow and tell them what one of your favorite hobbies are. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing. I really don't want to linger on this, but there's just nothing to move on to. This is it. I just told you the game. Well, there are a few small things, I guess. Remember on the website there were these pictures of stores in a photo mode? What about all those? Well, let's see. As far as answering questions goes, you can keep talking to your Mii to answer more and more questions. All of your answers can be seen by your friends. Another thing you can do with these pricks is give them catchphrases. It used to be that to give a Mii a catchphrase, you'd have to level them up or wait for them to ask you for one. Here they just give you everything at all times. It kind of takes some of the fun out of it. All the freedom you want with no build-up. Most of these greetings, by the way, are only seen by your friends, as you'll see later on. But even then, a lot of these only get used if you explicitly set them up to be. Pretty much the only thing your own Mii will say to you is its greeting. It's pretty lame. If your lookalike has no drip whatsoever, feel welcome to take it to the clothing store. Such a big variety of trash. Although some clothing items are seasonal or limited time only, who cares when there's already such a thrilling selection of ugly dog shit right from the get-go? Giving something to someone typically means you care about them in some regard, so I've decided to take away his clothes. He's such a dumb fucking loser. Well, I'm bored. What can we do to make things in this hollow world slightly less unbearable? Well, in the other games, usually I would just create a new Mii. That way there's another factor in everyone's decisions and relationships. So to the Mii maker we go. Your earliest Miis are typically the most interesting, right? Like, you can have some real ones late in the game, but you'll always have a soft spot for those OGs. My concern here is that there already was just so little to do with this asswipe that how much more could I be doing with another one? Will they hang out? Can they do activities? Can they reproduce? I don't know, only one way to find out. By tapping the room list icon, we can hop over and meet our new neighbor, Cardboard. When in her room, we lose access to a lot of options. And when you go to interact with her, there's just 3 prompts. What the fuck is this? Is this seriously it? I just don't get it. How do you strip the Tomodachi games of literally everything that made them great and think it'll make a great mobile app? This world and the 2 pricks who live in it both fucking suck. I dicked around a bit with Cardboard to see what I could do, and guess what I did? I answered more questions. What the hell kind of boring shit is this? I went back to Suicide to see if he had anything to say about his new neighbor, but nope. He's just acting like nothing happened, which, truthfully, is probably what he thinks. This fat chud has no windows and his door leads to 4 blank walls. If a million new Miis moved in, he wouldn't have a goddamn clue because he's trapped in his own personal hell, and so am I.
When I changed clothes earlier, I got my photo taken.
Wow, you look like an asshole. Here's like the one thing that feels like it came from a Tomodachi game. He changed clothes, so he took a picture called a Mii photo. I love that because he didn't even change clothes. I just stole from him the few tangible objects he was brought into this world with. Now he has literally nothing. You can choose to share the photo with friends, but lucky for your friends, this portion of the app doesn't seem to function anymore. The game just soft locks if you choose to share or save any Mii photos. At the very least, the text box perfectly covers this dickbag's face. Don't ever touch the Mii photos, you'll always just end up getting stuck.
Why does he enter the room every time I open the app? Where the hell is he going to? Let's check out another option here in our lookalikes room. Welcome to Candy Drop. All the fun of a Plinko machine, apparently. Once a day, you get a free drop. You can either win a game ticket or a stub. If you get 10 stubs, you can trade them in for a game ticket. What's a game ticket? You'll see in like 4 minutes probably. Plinko is fun, so I guess it's just fun to watch, but like, I could be doom scrolling right now. This is the most interesting thing that has happened in this game since the coin button on the loading screen. After you play, that's it. Wow, if only words could describe the intense fulfillment I'm experiencing right now. I feel like I just bought a house. That's how incredible this whole experience is. Watching these do nothing feels like buying a house. I've decided to throw another me into the mix because I just refuse to believe they serve no purpose. They must be able to interact with each other, right? They wouldn't just let you make me so they can stand around all day doing nothing. Maybe I just have to wait a bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll put the game down and come back tomorrow. Hopefully something will have happened. Literally nothing has happened. I really just can't stand this shit. I went in knowing this whole experience was gonna suck ass, but this is just unbearable. Question of the day. Wow, so much fun. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? Who was playing this shit? When this game came out in 2016, I remember checking it out and then losing interest after like 3 days. There's nothing to draw you back in once you close the app. And although the Miiverse-like threads you see on posts and answers to questions used to be a lot more bubbling back when the official servers were still up, that interactivity just did very little. Once again, obviously, that social interactivity is the whole point here. But what even is it in the first place? A comment on my response? I don't need to hear your boring ass shit comment. Especially when Nintendo would have censored anything actually funny I could say. Just like Tomodachi Life, you're not supposed to sit here for a few hours. You're supposed to check in, see how everyone's doing, create an abomination, then leave. But this is just like, what? I'm checking in, sure. But what am I even checking for? Because my friend said dogs are his favorite animal? Who cares? Maybe I'm overreacting, so let's find out for ourselves. Does this game actually get better when you make a new friend? Well, after sending that invitation out over line, I get my first friend. All you gotta do is accept, and bam, now I can visit my new pal. And you're never gonna believe what I can do when I go visit him. Yep, that's right. Answer fucking questions. Why in the good name of God do these Miis want to know so much niche information about me? It's just the absolute worst. It really is.
Their current chapter drug addiction are.
The fuck even was that? This bizarre breathing sound happens sometimes when you're prompted to answer a question. I have no clue why. It's starting to feel like a government phishing program. This is like the most fun-looking way of getting me to volunteer personal information to a foreign company. When visiting a friend, you get access to their entire roster of inbreds. Pick your favorite. You can pop in and say hi to all of them. But guess what you're gonna do once you stop by? That's right, nothing. You can't do anything. You can tap on them to hear one of their greetings, but other than that, you're just watching the wildlife. See what their room looks like and what clothes they have, and you can even buy their clothes if you like them. But other than that, there is actually nothing going on here. There's a lot of characters here, and even some familiar looking faces. I'm a bit jealous to tell you the truth. And if you are too, no need to worry at all. You can take someone's Mii and make it move into your apartment. It's weird because they still exist in their creator's world. They just clone them, I guess, but their clothes don't come over with them. You have to re-buy them all. When making Miis or stealing them, you're always given the option to keep them private. So if you don't want other people knowing about the sick freaks you have roaming the hallways, Nintendo's got you covered. When you find the strength to pull yourself away from these interesting asshole cunts, you may decide to reroute your attention to the shop. Yes, that's right, the shop. Now, earlier we bought some clothes through our Mii, but if you want to just browse, you can check out the shop tab. Here you can buy some clothes, new interiors for your Mii's apartments, and you can see all different kinds of promotional items. Obviously, they don't cycle through new items anymore, but often there would be crossover events with recently released Nintendo games like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. If a fit looks interesting to you, then hop in and test your luck. Let me tell you something I hate. I hate it when a theme or collection is split up into multiple pieces you all have to acquire separately. Why the fuck do games do that? This is what made me not bother with Badge Arcade on the 3DS. Yes, that looks really cool, but I'm not sitting here wasting time and money to try to piece together this fragmented collection of digital content more meaningless than a box of condoms in Steve Buscemi's glove box. How about this? How about I give you like $2 and then I get all of them? How does that sound? If you really want a complete set, you're gonna be here for a while. Remember those game tickets I told you about? Yeah, I don't either, but this is where you would use them. Typically, you would use the money you get from interacting with Miis and dish out 100 bones to to play. But if you got a game ticket or enough stubs to trade in for one, then you can save yourself the money. While a round bulb thing moves left and right at the top of the screen, all you can do is watch as a Mii helplessly fights for their life. Why am I dropping my Miis? They ran out of candy and had to use something else of equal value? I really don't care that I'm dropping Miis instead here, but listening to them scream and then just have them submit to a pile of bodies at the bottom is just disturbing. If you want a complete set, just keep going and going and going. Time that could be spent starting a forest fire and you're wasting it here in Miitomo. There's several different Plinko machines you can play with, and this is actually probably the most fun thing in this game so far, and it barely even constitutes as being fun. Like, if you could assign a value to the amount of fun you get out of being shot, that's around how much fun you're gonna have with this. Let's take a look at another major mechanic this game has to offer. Sending messages. If you have any friends, you can send one of your Miis over to their apartment to deliver a message. Could you imagine making plans or something like this? Because there is no prompt or anything, you just type something in to say. So what percentage of people using this feature are just gonna spam every no-no word in the book to random people? When you finish writing your death threat and send your Mii off, just like the Tomodachi games, depending on the speed you assign to them when creating their personality, they slowly walk out of the room towards the 1 square foot hallway. So what goes on now? Their room is just empty. If you're feeling impatient, you can call them back prematurely, but in reality, the message gets delivered to the other person regardless. I guess them staying out is a fun way to make it feel like they really left and are going to pay someone a visit. But they come back after a few minutes anyway, regardless of anything you or the recipient does. And what does that look like? Well, when your friend goes to open the app, they'll be treated to your little piss boy having a conversation with their lookalike. This is the only interaction Miis have with each other in this game. It's so sad. Like, this social app about socializing barely has any physical socialization between Miis. Once you're ready to interrupt them, the Mii greets you, then delivers their message. Once you hear it, you can choose to see your message history with them, send a reply, or just stop. Once you make up your mind, the Mii says their farewells. Wow, that was really exciting. What a fat fucking joke this game is. It is worth mentioning though that in the original game, you could walk into your Mii having a conversation with a friend even if that person didn't send you a message. But even when that does happen, they just leave after telling you something that their lookalike said. At least that's some kind of unprovoked Mii interaction, but they don't form relationships or anything, so it really is just to make it seem more lively, which it does a poor job of doing already and barely is anyway. The only other thing to say about this is once you hear a message, the Mii just goes. Like, you interrupt their conversation, they present to you their message in a blank and monotone voice with whatever expression your friend chose, and then they just leave. Like, what? What the fuck kind of visit is that? If you send out multiple Miis at once, or your friend just happens to have multiple messages from different people, then the Miis just come in one after the other as if there's a line outside the door and they're all taking turns coming in. If you have an asshole friend who loves spamming you with unfunny garbage, you could have a real nightmare on your hands. Remember earlier I talked about Mii photos? You're always given the option to attach Mii photos to things, but with the state this game is in today, the app just soft locks, so sadly you can't share any of your Mii porn with your friends. But if you open the post menu, you can still access the option to create one. You still can't share or save them, but at least you can still have all the fun of the Mii Photo Studio in your hands. Looks familiar, huh? You can move them around, pose them, give them expressions, add text, a background, stickers, colors, the whole 9 yards. I think, genuinely, you can have a lot of fun here. This photo studio is leagues ahead of Tomodachi Life's in terms of customization, so be sure to take advantage of it and show off to the world that creative bone you keep under your femur. This little photo studio just oozes that stupid dumb fun that the Tomodachi games are all about, so it's sad to see that 99% of the Tomodachi charm is coming from the photo mode. I like making photos, but I feel like some people are just missing. Like, pictures are more fun when you can be creative with a wide variety of subjects, so why not utilize another way of getting Miis to move in? QR codes. If you have a Mii's QR code handy, scan it, and just like that, you have a new neighbor. If you have an island in Tomodachi Life, you can even move those Mii's over with their identity preserved. When importing Mii's from Tomodachi Life, along with their body comes their voice, birthday, personality, and catchphrases, which is actually pretty cool. Unfortunately, and obviously though, their relationships, food preference, or belongings won't be imported with them because they just don't exist in this game. With more and more Mii's here with us, there's even more fun to be had in the photo studio. You know, I can understand a lot of this game's shortcomings. I can see that a free mobile app isn't going to have the depth of favorite foods and activities and donations and shops and yada yada yada, but the lack of any interaction between Mii's whatsoever is just truly depressing. Like, to import all these Mii's with different personalities and preference just for them to be locked up in a room seems like such a waste of potential. The only relationships you're going to find these Mii's in are the fictional ones you insinuate through your creations in the photo gallery. Such a waste. Sadly, we're nearing the end of the rope here. There's not really much else to see. I think I'm going to give it one more day, and maybe, just maybe, this game will have something that just blows my mind away. Nothing in this game is a reason to live. I keep checking and checking in on everyone, and I look at them and I'm like, yay, I get to have a fun interaction with them, and then you tap on them and it's always just like, want to answer a question? No, I really don't actually. I'm sick and tired of answering your goddamn questions all the fucking time. You don't care how I answer those questions, and I don't care that you're alive. An unspoken mutual agreement for the both of us to fuck off for the rest of our lives. I would normally do some kind of highlight reel before wrapping up this kind of garbage, but truthfully, there's about just as much variety in this game as there are bodies behind my local Dunkin' Donuts, which is 4 by the way.
I love spleen. Nice spleen.
Fuck you, you fat piece of shit. I'm miserable. Can ya send me? I plan on dying today.
Go fuck yourself with your threats. I know where you live, con.
Kill me.
I'm pissed, puppy. Suicide sent me.
This is so true. Kill yourself.
Would you like to hear my opinion of minorities?
That's so sick. Please kill yourself.
Minors.
Where the white people at?
I have a knife. Later.
Wow, man, that's so cool. Kill yourself.
Where are your hands? Flolly. I am delivering the bones.
Oh God, please, God, send me to the end. Oh God.
Fucking up.
Can I borrow your rib cage?
Well, sadly, that's everything. That's what you can do with your Miis. That's it. There really is not much to say here. It's a pretty barren place. Even though I not only hate them, but also have no opportunity to truly know them, for what it's worth, these Miis are all I got. And it would be wrong of me to hog them all in my little world, so why not share them with the rest of God's children? Welcome to Sidekick Central, a place to share and discover new Miis with the other sickos playing this shit. Essentially, it functions as this game's equivalent to the Check Me Out channel. It's fun to scroll through and see other people's mistakes, but you can only filter by trending. Why are there no other filters? How would what's trending be determined if the only Miis you can see are the ones that are trending? Something that is cool that I'll give credit to is that if you see a cool outfit, you can purchase it directly from Sidekick Central. Well, that's all. But is there anything missing? Is there something that I just can't see now that the game's been discontinued? Well, no, there really isn't. There were some events at times, but those events were barely even events. The only semi-documented event from this game is the Everybody Answers event. From what I can tell and remember, it was just one question that everyone got, and the whole user base got to share answers with everyone instead of just going back and forth with a friend. My Nintendo account integration was a major part of this game's release, but boy oh boy if it barely did anything. You could earn Miitomo coins that would act the same as the Platinum points on the My Nintendo website and could be spent on digital rewards in lieu of them. You could have also use them to buy in-game exclusive clothes and interiors. These coins could be earned by completing missions from the My Nintendo website. What were these missions? Well, it usually would just boil down to very basic tasks, like send a friend a message or buy some new clothes. There was nothing crazy you would be sent doing. Linking the account also lets you save your game data to the cloud instead of just saving locally, along with allowing you to find Twitter and Facebook mutuals to send friend requests to. But is that really it? Is there just actually no point to this beyond doing the same thing over and over again just because it's mildly entertaining? Well, yeah, actually there was one thing, and that, of course, was leveling up. Yes, the same way your Miis level up in Tomodachi Life, you could do that here, but only with your lookalike. All the other Miis are left out from leveling up. Back when the game was still supported, there were two different statuses you could level up. Your popularity level and your style level. Though it was removed from the home screen UI, this leveling up system still exists within the game, albeit pretty hidden. When you send a message, react to posts, and receive likes from friends, you get experience points. The more friends you have, the more interacting you do, the more experience you get. Over time, you would have a crown that slowly grows every 5 levels. But for every other level that isn't a multiple of 5, you would just get a game ticket. Pretty lame. What does this whole thing look like? Well, your Mii will have something to tell you and then inform you that you have a new title. Every level is accompanied by some kind of title. Of course, you'd want to impress your friends by showing off your level, but if I ever saw someone with a level 50 crown, I would probably just bully them for being a loser. Then there's the style level, which is literally the exact same thing, but you only get experience from buying and changing outfits. The leveling up system is the exact same, but the titles you receive with each level are just clothes-themed. Of the two, the popularity level is the only one that still works. This was the only game design incentive to do anything, pretty much. As far as currency in this game goes, I talked about game tickets and stubs, and obviously the coins are how you buy things. But if you just don't got enough coins to buy something, you could always use your real money. Yes, there you go. There's the mobile game. Buying coins. Obviously you can't anymore, but 9 years ago, microtransactions were always an option. When it comes to the candy, originally, candy was used as a currency to unlock people's answers to questions. Yeah, unlock an answer. Imagine spending your last piece of candy to see some guy's favorite color. And then it's just a slur. That would have been fun. But after the candy drop update, this system was removed, so the answers were always shown. Wow. Other than that, that's it. That's all. That was the Miitomo experience. Genuinely. And I know this, despite my experience with it for this video. This game was much more interesting back when the servers were still up. When you had 100 friends who were all posting dumb pictures and answering stupid questions, all wearing weird clothes and putting up posters on their walls. Even if giving them a personality does literally nothing, it did actually give some kind of life to this inarguably empty world. But what is just absolutely the reality of all this is that this game was Nintendo's first mobile game, and it wasn't great. It was okay. The charm was there, but the execution was questionable. It just didn't work all too well. And obviously, Nintendo felt the same way when they discontinued it in May of 2018. The original Tomodachi team worked on this game, and with another game on the horizon coming out next year, you can only hope that the devs leave what didn't work behind them. I absolutely love these games more than anyone, and grew up spending years on my island and its inhabitants. So when I saw this was coming out, it was exciting, but I would be lying if I said it didn't disappoint. With Living the Dream on the way, I just don't have the faith in me. To me, this game looks so plain and blah, and I have no idea how Nintendo made a game trailer with graphics as terrible looking as this with frame rates that are so bad, it's like, how did they even show this? I'll save my criticism, but when I put this game up to this game, up to this game, all I see is what happens when you suck the soul out of an IP and try spending as little money as possible making it look good. But we'll just have to wait and see. All in all, if you want to play a Tomodachi game, here you go. This is all you need, although you may not be able to get your hands on it. Jesus Christ, when did this game get so fucking expensive? Well, if you don't got the bones for it, there's gotta be some other way to play it, right? Some other way. Wonder what that way could be. There's gotta be some way for you to play this game on your 3DS without spending all that money. Wow, how could you do that? If you like Miis and hate yourself, these games are great. But this one's just not. It was mid at best when it was still supported, and it barely scrapes unbearable now that it's ended. You can have some amount of fun dicking around, but any time you could spend here is just time you could spend here. This game is remembered by Nintendo in literally no way, shape, or form. At some point in 2017, your Mii in Super Mario Run could wear its clothes from Miitomo in-game, but that's as far as it ever went. Very little documentation of this game exists, and it's no longer available to be re-downloaded from either app store, even if you had it when it was available. It's practically wiped from Nintendo's history. This game is mid as fuck, and that's all it's going to be remembered as. I give this game 4 potato famines out of 10. I'm Bearman, and I've been wasting your time. Thanks for watching.
This has to stop.
This has to stop. This has to stop. This has to stop.
This has to stop. This has to stop.
This has to stop. This has to stop.
This has to stop. This has
This has to stop.
This has to stop.
This has to stop.
This
This
has
has
to
to stop.
stop.
This has to
This
stop.
has to
This has to
stop.
stop. This has to stop.